Yeah, I didn't mean. I'm out of sorts today, man. Yesterday kind of wrecked me, so that's why I'm a little subdued. I apologize. I'm not going to discuss the events yesterday. I'm not happy about it, and I don't think anything good will come of discussing it. So I figured I'll just keep it out. But all to say is that pray for him and his family. Pray for the country. I typed up and deleted like 20 posts yesterday on Twitter, and I was like, I'm not going to post this. It's one of those days. Yeah. Let's talk trading. Yeah, I agree. $23,942 retesting these lows here. Talk Jabrodiism. 100%. 100%. I had to log off social media. There's some very evil people out there. Yes, they are. All right, so we're defending that 950. This is exactly where I'm looking for a possible 3C bounce. We'll see if we actually get it. From here, that's where I would look for them to take out the big old 2400 after they sweep the top side, catch people with their pants down trying to chase the long, and then go from there. Still pushing. There's 9.3. Can you quickly go over the colors on Bookmap? Red is, yes. So anything you see on the Bookmap is open orders. Open orders. And they are posting very large liquidity, 24,000 down to 23,950. That is where you really want to place your attention. What's up, YouTube? Welcome. I gave you a free stream today without realizing it, so welcome, welcome. So the heat map, white, blue amount of orders, red. Yeah, so the more dense the order flow, the darker the red. 100%, yeah. Now you also have to be careful because the density can kind of throw you off because the density is relative. So if you have a very, very light volume, very light liquidity environment, you could have like 25 orders that'll show up as dark red. So you need to watch the quantity that you see as well, in addition to the density. On a very, very heavy day, it'll take like 1,100 orders to make that thing dark red. Yep, quantities to the right. Yeah, right here, what you see here, these orders right here. I got my new binoculars in yesterday. Those things are the most insane thing I've ever put my eyes onto. Except for the wife, of course. She's pretty nice to look at. 23,930. Another bottom wick. What are they going to do with this, bro? Options chain right now. I've already done that. Get out of here. Shows call buying, very slight put buying. Very slight put buying. Good save, yeah. What's up, KOM chat? How you doing? Where else can we find the stream that's not on YouTube? Right now, it's only on YouTube. I don't like stream on Kick or anything. I actually tried to restart my Kick account. Not Kick. What is it called? Twitch. But they banned my account because I was apparently streaming underage, inappropriate content. And I'm like, dude, I'm a trading stream. But I appealed it. They still upheld they upheld the ban, so I no longer have a Twitch account, although I never used it anyway. So yeah. Isn't that what Twitch is? I think so. I don't know. They probably saw Dan's Kermit GIFs. Yeah. 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 I'll give you something to ban. To whom it may concern, I have recently been involved in a stream which you have banned. Please show enclosed a picture of my cucumber. I'm delusional, y'all. I apologize. I apologize. All right, 23,914. If they continue to roll it, I would possibly look for this little bounce here. 880 here. We have very weak options data today so far, which is uncharacteristic. It was a long day yesterday. It was a long day yesterday. Is that Kermit the Frog or Jordan Peterson? I love it. A little bit of both. Did you try to sell bathwater on Twitch? No, I wish. I wish. I wish it was that easy to make money. But unfortunately not. Has anyone else tried to use this? Tried to raise some s'mores, but the butane nearly destroyed my hand. I don't. I'll show you the one that I have. I've got one that's really good. I bought from Tractor Supply, and it works great. Are we going to test 900? Maybe. What's up, Dan? Iron Will, how you doing? Dave Powell. Still coming off here. Tilt is 70% short. We are just hitting 945, so we're officially within my trading zone. Not sure how they're going to go about doing this right now, but we will see. Man, Tractor Supply sucks. We had a before it was a great. It's better than TC. Yeah, it's just Tractor Supply has its place. It's just a little expensive, of course. 3C long bounce right of your. Yep. So far, I mean, I don't have a lot of volume here, and it's not really holding a bottom wick, so I'm not interested in longing this just yet. Plus, this looks like a wreck the bull type of opening so far, where everyone continues to try to buy the dip and it wrecks it. So, we'll see. We'll see. I know you generally only look at zeros, but the chain is put heavy. Yeah, yeah. Took a break from NASDAQ in New York session, went back to ES. Amazing the difference. Yep. It's a much cleaner product. Much cleaner product. ES, big green candle. NASDAQ, same difference. Big green candle. We have call buying, put selling right now, so just FYI. Not very heavy, but regardless, call buying, put selling. We have liquidity higher. Use a username edub. Yeah. Pick me up of last little age. I want to start dabbling some YM. I feel like YM gets moves. They do, yeah. They had some very clean moves a couple weeks ago. Frumple, we're gonna avoid talking about that stuff today. There's enough of it. Enough of it. For now, at least. $960 still going. ES going to the high of the day already. Nasdaq's going as well. Beautiful bounce. Has a 50-point bounce on Nasdaq. $431 million calls, 100 million sold puts. They're still going with the baby. Let's see what we can do here. I don't think we have any major data coming out top of the hour, right? Yeah, we got nothing. Nothing top of the hour. Next thing we have is the 30-year auction at 1 p.m. And that's it. And then tomorrow, tomorrow's Friday, right? Yeah. We have nothing tomorrow. Nothing. So that's the last news of the week right there. And of course, next week, keep your powder dry because next week is time to fix bayonets. Well, poor choice of words, I guess, in this environment. Time for volatility next week. Time for volatility this week. What's happening next week? Next week is FOMC, OPEX, Vixpiration. It's the biggest options expiration in history next week, which, like we already talked about this a couple days ago, where it's biggest OPEX in history sounds intimidating, but it's no longer intimidating. That's what happens every time now. The option chain is becoming so robust that every single OPEX appears to be the biggest expiration in history, which means just pure notional rolling off the books. We have Vixpiration, and of course we have the FOMC, which right now is looking like it's going to give us the first big rate cut in about a year, and possibly the first 50 basis points in a while, which will be very interesting for the market. That's why the Twitch ban happened. What? Bottom wick. Call buying, put selling so far. I've had significantly much more peace trading my personal account without limits than trading TPT. 2 trades this week. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, with TPT, admittedly, you've got to be very steady with your buffer creation until you start turning on the wrist. If you turn the heat up too early, that trailing drawdown is going to slap your PP. So you got to really turn it up tight, and then when you finally get the buffer, you can start to unleash the purse strings a little bit. But that trailing drawdown is the one thing that keeps me from making it the top prop in my field of view. Right now, Top Step is a leader. My win rate on Top Step is much higher, on simply because I don't really have to worry about a lot of stuff. So plus I have a big enough buffer on Top Step where I could leave a trade on and to let it absorb a little bit of a loss with, as long as it maintains my risk tolerance and my thesis, and let the trade play out. These are my June stats for my TopStep funded accounts right now. Not June, September. Apologize. Simply because I just wait. I just wait. You know, I put the trade on. Of course, I'm only longing, by the way, which that's a big part of it. I'm not shorting, I'm just longing. I play whatever wicks. I set the trade on. I take my hands off, and I just let it do its thing. And it's been working exceptionally well. So if you don't like the trailing drawdown, TopStep is the best out there. If you like the daily payouts, TakeProfitTrader's the best out there. So still going 975. Nice little higher price action here. Gun talk? Yeah. If that's the reason, then good. I'm glad they banned me. Are they going to send it with no real dip today? We had the dip. That was the catching people longing at the top dip, and they dumped it all the way to 910, and now they're bouncing it back up. And probably now they're going to catch the people trying to short, and they're going to rocket this thing to the stratosphere. I saw last night Top 1 Future started a new program last night for instant sim funded account 150. I don't like trying out new. I don't want to be the one to try out new firms. I'll let someone else jump on that grenade, and then I will. If they're a value add to me, I'll do it. The reason why I added TakeProfitTrader is because I wanted to test out their daily payout structure, and it worked out beautifully. So that's why I'm only trading 2 props right now. What do I make of yesterday's dip on the market? Let's go take a look. Very much too fast. We had a very bullish move for about 48 hours straight, if not longer. 3 days in a row, it just rocketed. We had a PPI, and this was more of a blow-off top. This move right here is a blow-off top. When you get these kind of aggressive green moves after you have already a very strong green trend, this is a typical move. So they're just undoing a lot of that liquidity, regathering, and then now we just bounce back up, and it's been on an uptrend ever since. Very small uptrend, but an uptrend regardless. Do I still have TopStep? I do. I do. Trump's talking right now. Yeah. Right now we have 888 million calls, 236 million sold puts. Do I use Trace? I do use Trace. Yeah, Trace is fantastic. Can you only trade futures? Yes, you can. You can only trade futures on props. Oh, my apologies. Looks like Discord finally fixed the streaming problem, so that seems to be okay. Another bottom wick. We have 2 bottom wicks in a row on the 1 minute. The 5 minute is showing another bottom wick here. I would likely look for another 24,000 retest. Just use your code to sub to Muckbap. What add-ons do you recommend? Nice. Appreciate it, buddy. The add-ons is the MBO package. And then after that, go into your settings and add the stops and icebergs indicator. That's the one I use. I don't have any other indicators besides that. I've tested out a bunch. I think most likely, most of them are distractions, except the stops and iceberg indicator. It's fantastic. But to me, just the book map structure itself is the tool that really shines. Still going green. Coming up. Here's 24,000 retesting. It's going, baby. Here we go. Looking for 24,000. We have now 1.3 billion in calls. They are absolutely smoking the calls right here. And what's going to happen? They're going to come up to 24,000. People are going to try to short it, so they're going to put a big old green cucumber right through 24,000. Might even get to 2440 or so before they actually do something with it. $24,000, baby. YM hasn't had one red candle yesterday. Yeah. Yeah. See if they could do it on this push right here. Let's see if they could do it. Get that 24,000. Everyone's going to try to get into these short positions here. And they're going to put a little pressure, and it's going to go blip right through it. 978 or so. Chilling. So by the stats alone, if you have a profit rate of 12%, you earn 10,000 on 100K account. So that means you have 90K. Weird how they expect such a low rate, unless I'm looking at it wrong. Not sure what you mean. Profit rate of 12%. You feel an OMG candle coming? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Tremendous amount of call buying. 1.3 billion in calls, 335 million in sold puts right here. So they're just kind of oscillating into this 970, 980 move. Or is this the candle? Well, just use the 3 C's for both entry and exit. Do we have a high volume top wick here? No. We have a slight little top tick here into this 980 area with no volume, and we're just kind of chilling. And what's going to happen, people are going to try to short this move, not understanding the whole concept of this price structure or the fact that we've got almost 2 billion in positive delta just rolling into the books right here. So increasing volume at smaller candle sizes. Yeah. Another 20-point top wick right here, 965. Just 2 slide, I'm going to chill. That's probably the best. Just chill a little bit. Let's go look at ES. ES is flying, baby. Flying. 65, 63, right there. Beautiful. NASDAQ, small top tick. It's the YM show. Yeah. It's boring now. ES is putting on liquidity up at 65.80. All we got to do is just get that move. We got to get a little Momo to start doing the old blasteroni with cheese. But can they do it is the question. First, we'll try to grab the 24,996 area, 24 or 23,996. Obviously, that's the morning high. ES is putting on 65.80, which is a 7-point move up from here on ES. There we go. See what we could do. See what we could do, and there we go. Let's get 24,000. What's the name of the book that changed your thinking? Complete Guide to Volume Price Analysis. Yep, I did an interview. Yeah, thanks, Stilwell. Yeah, so you could get it anywhere. I think you can get it on Amazon for a couple of bucks. I did do an interview with her, which was fantastic. I need to do an updated one too. But yeah, can you expound on the 3 C's? Yep, the 3 C's on my system are volume, wick, and then price action. Bullish price action if you're looking for bounce. Bearish price action if you're looking for rejection. And mainly what I'm looking for if you're looking for a bounce is for the price action to clear higher than the prior candle's close. So the first 2 C's are very technical. The third C is more of an art form. That's where the nuance comes in. That's where experience comes in. That's the one you really need to determine. That's the subjective one. The better you are at identifying the third C, the more consistent you're going to be. Still going. Here comes that. Once they take this out, we'll get our OMG candle to 24.20. Probably in like 2 seconds or so. There it goes. There you go. There's 24,000. Here comes 20. All right, lock it in. Bring your stop up. And lock in your profits. What did he get? 24.05 or so? Yeah, that's about right. High volume on that candle as we punctured 24,000 with the top wick. So casual. Yeah, just, especially on CPI's days, man. All of my systems and setups and thought processes are born through getting smacked in the face. And CPI has smacked me in the face more times than I care to admit. So and now is where they continue on. So, in my opinion, your stops need to be defended by 24,989 or 23,989. So anything under 23,989, place your stops under there and take your hands off. See if you can get another 100 points. So, that's it. That's it. Remember the CPI triangles. They were good. Yep, 100%. They were amazing. Easiest trades ever until they just stopped working. Still going, baby. 24,000. What's NASDAQ liquidity looks like? 2402. $254 one-time fee, top one feature for instant funded, instant payout option. That seems too good to be true, man. We'll see. I'm not going to touch that. I got in late, but that bottom look off support was my entry. Beautiful, Twizzy. Nice. Well done, sir. That's rule number one with business, Kennedy. I'm sure you know that. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. There's a catch. Going to monitor Reddit next. Nice. So, 23,984, nice little rejection right off of it. After the high volume top wick, so the 3 C's right there, baby. Hard not to trust those things, man. Hard not to trust the process. High volume top wick. Stopped out for 24% win. For those starting on a profit, a 50K account is the way to go. I would say so, yeah. Simply because, y'all see that 3C topic right there on NASDAQ? Freaking beautiful, man. I didn't take the short, but got me out of my long. Fantastic, dude. Ah. That's how I have a 95% win rate. Which is not normal. I'll tell you, it's not normal. My win rate usually is between 75 to 80, maybe 72%, but this past 2 weeks has been phenomenal. And I attribute it to the fact, obviously the 3C system works, but the fact that I've completely stopped shorting. Completely stopped shorting. Only buy the dip, with the exception of a couple of them. And that's it. So, yeah, hopefully y'all benefited from that. Thanks, Callie. All right, I'm back. Sorry. I should tell the biotech story. I don't know, man. I don't think they're ready for the biotech story. The biotech story was my phoenix. That was my birth by fire. That was my destruction. That was my fall of Rome. the package thief get it yet? Not yet. Not yet. Where's this liquidity at? Nice little top wick again right there. Apple made somewhat of a comeback. Nice. I don't know where to go from here. That was one good solid run up to 24,000. I think we caught pretty well. I'm going to kind of chill here for a second. Obviously, I'm still not shorting. So, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't. You do what you need to do. I'm not going to short. I'm just going to wait. I've taken Uno trade today. My win rate remains intact. When I first started my business, I had a promo for free AI automation integration. No one wanted it. My dad was like, because it sounds too good to be true. And I said, but AI is like $200 for the year. And everyone can get it basically for free. He said, they won't understand or trust you. Give them the dollar amount. Nice. That's a good point. Is that when you offer free, people don't respect or trust the product. They assume they assume it's flawed. Yeah, red hot. Yeah. So when I first started to trading, what got me, and by the way, I have a podcast about this, so I'll give you the truncated version if you want to hear the whole thing. Go listen to the podcast episode. But what got me into trading was I saw a random post about trading biotechs. Some guy made like some crazy high percentage return, which was probably bullcrap anyway. So I was like, hey, I'm going to do that. So I put every dime I had into biotech, and PDUFAs and phase 3 clinical trial alerts, and I got lucky twice. That was my downfall. Is that I tripled the account, almost nearly. It was like 2.5, almost tripled the account in the course of a couple of months. And then the third one got me, and I put every single dollar I had plus then some, which ended up being about $100,000 into a phase 3 clinical trial. It was supposed to be this new cancer drug that cured cancer, and woke up at 5 or so in the morning with a alert on my phone from God, the orange one. I always forget that. What is it called? I haven't used that thing in so long. Seeking Alpha. From Seeking Alpha saying the phase 3 clinical trial failed, and I lost everything except $2,000. I lost it all. 98% of the account was gone in 2 days. Imagine I'm telling the story around the campfire. Yeah. Phase 3 clinical trial failed. Ooh. Really good podcast when you're at the bottom and need that humility faith reminder. Definitely. But it taught me a lot of stuff. So I wouldn't be here without that. I feel better about feeling my evals. Thank you. You're welcome, Redek. Yeah. Just take it one step at a time, buddy. You'll get it. When you're trading off the NASDAQ, what ticker do I use? I'm on Thinkorswim and mainly use Qs. I use NQ when I'm trading off NASDAQ. My father-in-law has a similar story to the tune of 7 figures. Woo! I couldn't imagine that, dude. I've had $100,000 loss days before. I've had, obviously that first one was very big. That first loss was the biggest of my career percentage-wise, but the dollar amounts have gotten exponentially bigger as my success has grown. Unfortunately, my wife works in competitive intelligence for a major pharmaceutical company. She researched on the biotech, but if she and I invest based on any of her research, they just report to the company. Oh yeah, yeah, but I doubt she's slinging 100% position sizes based on phase 3 clinical trial results. There's a difference. So about that research, yeah. Yeah, definitely, definitely. We have 1.5 billion calls, 52 million puts. Yeah, I love it, Proggy. 1.5, 56 million. Do we have any volume? Nope. Steady volume, so no longs yet. Would you mind sharing what you got into that long? Yeah. So we had a very inflow of volume there at the 9:10 mark. 5 candles. We had a bunch of bottom wicks into the area on the 5 minute, and once we clear that 9:30, 9:40 range, that's your indication to start looking for long positions. If not already, enter a long. So remember, the whole thesis here on what we're trying to do is buy into the bounces, the right side of the V. So I need to show that I'm not going to get wrecked. That candle there at 9:45 is a very suspicious candle to me. If you remember this 9:45 candle, which if you don't, go back and look at your charts. This candle formed and then dumped quickly to the 9:10 mark and instantly bottom wicked. Whenever I see that quick shakeout candle, that makes me want to think liquidity sweep. That's the gotcha. So whenever you see that, that's the nuances of that third C too, of just being familiar with price action and how they do things. So go back and look at that 9:45 candle. They dumped it quickly, instantly bottom wicked. That's a liquidity sweep. That's my indication to start looking for long positions. If you're looking for a short, it's going to be the other way around, which means they fly it higher, and then if they were to crash that 946 candle, that's when they're going to go lower. But the fact that they dumped this thing quickly, put in a new low, and then instantly bottom wicked it, especially with volume, indication to go long. And then everything over 930, 940, boom, you're long in that baby. And then after that, it was just managing, all right, well, I know it's going to 24,000 after they make that bounce, and that's what we did. We wrote it up to 24,000. Is there a way to make TradingView make a noise when I make a trade? I'm sure there is. I don't trade off of TradingView, so I'm not sure. Can I see your book map for a sec? Yeah, let's see. Change stream. What do you trade your prots off of? What do you mean? Oh, you're talking about like my actual execution? Top Step, I use Top Step X, which I got to say is fantastic. On TPT, I use Quan Tower N Tradeovate, which I absolutely loathe Tradeovate. There's something about Tradeovate I don't trade well off of it. Even if it's just like psychology, just looking at it, I don't have confidence in it. Quan Tower is fantastic. TPT or Top Step X is fantastic, but and I realize that, and I don't fight that. There's something about Tradeovate that just I don't manage it well. So I always turn down position sizing with it, and I take out every day's profits. And I've gotten close to wrecking that thing a few times over the past 2 weeks. I don't like trade of 8. TPT's trailing. Yeah. I don't either. I don't either. My NASDAQ short has top wicked at my entry. Good sign of a good entry. Yep, it is a sign of a good entry. What's interesting here is that I've got my top step set to 5-minute. I've got the charts that you're looking at here set to 1 minute, and I'm watching the both nuances of the candles here, and it's incredible how different of a bias you can get looking at the 1 as opposed to the 5, or the other way around. Completely different setups. We will see GDP growth next year over 4%. Interesting. Interesting. Gold is climbing into 3681 after a beautiful 3C bottom wick long position. CL is still drawing down off of their trend line. And they had a beautiful 3C bottom wick at 911 and then now is rolling back over again. After that, 6194. He must be accusing GDP with the S&P. Yeah. I remember today I was sitting in sophomore social studies watching it on the classroom TV, and they brought us all into the cafeteria. And as we got into the cafeteria, I saw the plane hit the second tower. It's crazy stuff. Literally same class and went to lunch. Were you in my grade? Were you in my school? It's crazy. Come green on TDY. Nice. Same, I remember I was barely 1 year old napping on my dad's chest. Oh my gosh. I forget some of y'all are so young. I was at first grade and I had no clue what was going on. Yeah, you just wanted your snack pack. And your juice box. Why can't you give me a snack pack? I'll give you a snack pack. As a guy, I haven't watched that movie in years. I need to watch that movie. I'm not from the U.S. What do you make of the Charlie assassination? Y'all are tearing yourselves apart from the inside out. I have a lot of thought. If you want to know what I'm thinking, go to my Twitter channel. Other than that, I'm not going to talk about it here. I use Twitter for the stuff I want to say, but I don't say in the Discord. Whatever. I'm not going to talk about it. Just going to make me mad. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's the line. Magabagooly. A little bit of red here. So Kennedy's trend line is working out a little bit right here. Beautiful. I wanted to sell a PCS today, but I fear I missed the move. Hoping for a small retracement entry point. I don't know. I don't know, man. little high volume bottom wick on that move, on that little bitty red candle. Let's see if they could sling it. I don't like the guy, but anyone being happy is, but yeah. Yep, I definitely agree with Nick. Here we go. All right, where's Ethan at? Ethan asked this question, or asked a question earlier, and I made a comment, and I want to compound on that. What's up, Ethan? All right, so this candle we just saw right here was what we just saw in this candle. Quick candle down, instant bottom wick to shake out the moves, shake out positions. So these candles right here, you cannot chase. If you're a trader who is a reactive trader, which most retail traders are, but as they're learning, these candles are what gets you to short the lows and buy the highs. The aggravation candles that causes you destruction, those are the candles. Those are the shakeout candles. The ones that they get you to set the hook. So you got to be careful with those things. That candle there got everyone shorting right there off the trend line. Very convenient spot to short it. People try to chase that little short position, and they managed to short the exact bottom at 23,951, and now they're about to press it back up, and they're going to punish those who got into the short positions. Once they take out this trend line, I would look for 24. Although I say that lightly because there's no structure at trend lines. I don't want to be punished. Yeah. You don't mention the POC often anymore, do I? I still use it, yeah. I just don't use the volume profile much during my actual trading session. I use it every day in my pre-planning before the session starts, before the week starts. I use that to set all my levels, but I don't monitor it during the session. So that's why. There we go. There's 967 going to 970. Once they close over 970, I would probably look for 24 again. I guess that long at 845 wasn't a trap after all. Best move I didn't take. There you go. How are the calls and puts looking? 1.8 billion calls, 36 million puts. This is what I would describe as aggressively bullish. So don't short. I'm not interested in doing any shorting, dude. I am not interested in doing any shorting. Only longing. Whatever, I'm a PCS. Nice. Goal for the day met and payout approved. This was an awesome day. Nice, Damien. Well done. All right, see how we're climbing up here? Now we're going for 24,000, likely. Not to mention we have 2 billion in calls now. They're still piling into calls. On 9/11, I was working as a power plant. They locked us inside till 8 p.m. First time I ever saw a machine gun. SWAT team was stationed at the gates. Interesting. I remember my grandfather at the time. He was still working in New York at LaGuardia Airport, the United States Postal Service sorting station. That's what he did for 37 years. He worked for the post office in New York City. So I was wondering, you know, was he crazy? Because I don't know. I was in high school. I don't know what was going on with it. You know, were they nuking New York? I don't know. So I was freaking out about him. No, that's right. Alessio. Hey, Alessio, how's it going? I called him Al. Can I ask you a question about the VP indicator? Yes, you can. Yeah, that was his name, Alessio. He was Italian as Italian gets, man. I remember him. He'd always walk around in black slacks and a white wife beater, and he had a gold chain. Like, dude was Italian as it gets. That's your cousin's name? Yeah. Posted a question earlier. I'll have to find a picture of him, but yeah. Yeah, I'll find a picture. He's got 4 brothers. He was the only one of his 5 brothers that were born in the United States. All the rest of them were born in Italy, and then moved here. I'll have to find the picture of it. All right, now we're going to 24,000. Y'all see what I mean by that? I kind of walked through that little gotcha candle, and now they're coming up to 24. You see how this works? It's over and over again. It's the shenanigans. Think about the shenanigans. Stop thinking like a retail trader and start thinking about shenanigans. He's got that Roman Catholic blood. Yeah, how you doing? Wife says short, I'll just buy the dip till it starts working. Yeah, stop shorting. Stop shorting. Love it, Dan. Love it. Here's a link to the chat. What do you got, Nico? What do you got? Can you help me understand the volume profile? I'm looking at today's price action on Amazon on the 5-minute. What time frame to the 15-minute POC and volume profile changes? If the volume by price and the time frame should change the volume. The time frame should change the volume unless you've got a fixed volume profile. But yes, they should change. There we go. Here comes 24,000, baby. Here comes 24,000. Beautiful. Lock it in, baby. Lock it in. That's what we got to do here. I love the simplicity you teach. Thank you. Appreciate it, Loki. I'm short enough, so shorting seems redundant. Yeah, you don't want to short if you're short. Yeah. Hey, here's 24,000. Guess what they're going to do at 24,000? Because we've already rejected it twice. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to say, hey, short me. Go on, short me. And then they're going to ram it down your throat. Like the meat station at Golden Corral. Go on. Short me. Gross. You ever been to Golden Corral? Aside from the hygiene aspect of it, it's pretty awesome. Hey, we have volume coming in here. 2.5 billion in calls. $24,000, baby. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about the rejection. Because they did put a high volume spike there. But I'm still not short nothing. There's 24,000. That was my first target. Anything from here is icing on the cake. The crumb cake. But my money still says they go higher. They're not going to reject this. They may top ticket, but they're not going to reject it. They're not going to reject it. Stay long, my friends. Stay long. What do we got here? That's what she said. Nice, Twizzy. One of us. He's becoming one of us. I love it. Actually, he's an OG, so he is one of us. Still going, 24,000. YM is the cake. Yeah, it is. That was a beautiful analysis right there. Thank you. Just a quick question. What tool do you use to be able to know the volume of active calls? I use a tool called Spot Gamma, which is in the bottom left of your screen on YouTube there. That is the darker screen with a green and blue line on it. So that tells me who's buying calls and who's buying puts and the quantity. So the green line is calls, the blue line is puts. When both of them are going up like they are, that means they are buying calls and they're selling puts. Sell to open, sell to close, doesn't matter. The notional on the puts are becoming more positive. That's the only takeaway you need right there. So what they're doing here is they're absorbing 24,000 here. They're not putting on a sweep and rejection. We don't have a 3C move. We don't have a top wick or a move under the prior close to result in a rejection. So they're absorbing this. They're going to get people shorting. They're going to put a little bit of upward pressure on there, and they're going to get approved for flight level 243 here in a couple of seconds. So we've already had 2 sweeping rejections off 24,000. They know people are going to want to short this level. That chart breaks my brain every time for some reason. Nice. I'm going to remind you about the spot gamma video every day. Do it. Y'all are crazy. Y'all are crazy. Y'all are crazy. There's 2401. Roll up the stops, baby. Roll up the stops. There you go. That's all on the hips. That's real good. 50 bucks as I consider hit it over the highway. $24.01. 2.7 billion calls, 246 million sold puts, not purchased puts, but sold puts. So we have about a 3.5 billion in positive delta on the options chain. Still going, baby. Still going. No shorting. It's time to make some money, baby. It's time to make the money. Hoo-wee! I'm back. Sorry about that. Smoker's cough. Smoker's cough. I close a position on those red candles. How to handle FOMO. Man, FOMO's for the birds, dude. Did you make money? Are you green on the day? Then you've done better than 99% of everyone in the entire world. So, think about it that way. Now, I'll tell you this. I'm pretty happy with the analysis of today. This is working out really well. I'm very profitable. My win rate remains intact. I don't know what the upside target is here. So at some point, they're going to smash this thing, but I don't know where that's going to be. So from here, I don't know. I don't know. So roll your stops up, protect yourself from here on out. It'll be fun if they blast this thing all day long, but I don't know what they're going to do. They just blast in higher to 24.02. Now that they've tapped that, I don't know what they're going to do. So lock in your gains. Don't hope for a blast off and get a full-on rejection. Don't be a jabroni. Protect yourself before you wreck yourself. Had to close out due to consistency rules. Thanks. Nice, Gabe. Yeah, I hate that rule. I wish they'd do away with it. But however, there's still no reason to be out of longs at the yet. There's no top wick that holds. There's no close under a prior low. So there's no need to get out of longs yet. I'm just telling you all. Roll up your stops and just ride the wave. Ride the snake. 2404. Nice, KW. You're probably right. I like that 2.5 liquid on Bookmap. There's nothing else above that, so I don't know. But 25.25 is nice. We'll see if we can grab that. Today is rinse and repeat for me. Buy the dip, step aside, watch shenanigans. I love it, Krish. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Not to mention, the macro level is working out pretty well this week. Pretty well. Feeling the flow. Working it. How are we even doing this without NVIDIA? That's a good question. The whole market's green, though. Look at the X's. Look at the X's. The X's of the S&P are all bright green. I mean 1.3%, 1.4, 1.5, 1.2, 2.4, massively green. That's why. Because this is not just a tech-heavy day. This is a market-wide green day. Which means, for the love of Jesus, do not short until the appropriate time. Do I need to show you my top step stats again? What time frame do you calculate your macros? 90% of the time, my macros are driven from the 4-hour chart and the daily chart. Occasionally, I'll dip below the 60-minute if we have very tight price action. Hey, red candle. Where'd that come from? I don't like quick red candles. Y'all know me. Where'd that come from? I don't see anything news-driven. I don't like quick red candles. So short. No. No. Don't short that candle. It has volume, but don't short the first one. If this is a short, wait for them to do the shenanigans. But don't short the first candle. You're gonna get slapped. Look, they've already bought up half that candle. I don't know where that came from, but I don't like it. Maybe a little profit taking. Wasn't that big of a candle. It was only 25 points, but still. PP slaps. That's right. Okay. What do we have? Let me look. Why is Sonic texting me? Buy one, get one free foot long. Only in America, baby. Only in America. I'll give you a foot long. $24,000. I don't know what that is, Red Hot. No, Dan, no. Yeah. The Frumple's in on the action now. Several people are typing, yeah. Second entry was pretty much where my first entry was. This will be it for me today. Nice, Twizzy. Lock it up. Lock it up. 12 minutes, I'm hitting the stop out on my top step and shutting down my brokers, and I'll be it for me today. That will be it for me today. On a Thursday, will I be I will be streaming tomorrow. I accidentally hit the public stream button today, mainly because my mind's been a little bit discombobulated the past 2 days. So yeah, you're welcome. I only ever watch you through YouTube, but it sounds like you got other chats going. Discord. I do stream with Discord, yes. So every time you hear me talking to a chat, it's either you all or Discord chat. My peeps are in Discord, though. I know it's terrible for you, but there are not many things in this world than a great chili dog with sauce, mustard, onions, cheese, and a warm soft bun. Dude, you ain't kidding. You ain't kidding. I felt a lot less rushed this week. I've knocked out a little more on my eval goal. Nice, Ben. It's fan. OM Glizzies. Oh my gosh. OM Glizzies. Hey, where's Tom at? Tom won the other $50,000 account. I haven't heard from the guy. Where you at, Tom? I'll take it off Tom's hand. If I don't hear from him by the end of the day, I'm going to give it to the next person. He sold MySpace living ago. He's living the life. Yeah. About to change my name to Tom. I also listened to your biotech podcast episode. That spoke to me. Oh yeah, I'm glad you got something out of that. That was a big moment in my. That was one of those critical, defining moments in my life. Germany is adding 100,000 troops to their army. Give it to me. It'll be the fast fill and TPT. No, it won't. I'll take that TPT count to billions. Why would you say CBD is 2K red with all this tech buying so green? I don't know. Sometimes you see an anomaly like that. I've talked to Bruce about that because every time we've had an anomaly, I can't really make heads or tails of it. Bruce is the owner of Bookmap. And he's like, sometimes it's the anomaly happens like that. It's just, sometimes you have a lot of dealers selling into supply that draws a CVD down like that. So maybe we do get a complete on rejection this afternoon. I don't know. My target's already hit. The long side's already up. Once we hit 24.02, I'd have no more targets left. So they could dump it back over. And with that little high volume spike right there, maybe that's the catalyst to get us back down to 23.9. Maybe that CVD will start to manifest itself here. I don't know. But my biggest takeaway from that is the fact that they're getting some selling into supply. De nada. De nada. Does your Tier 1 membership on your website get access to the streams? It does. Yep. It does. I stream every single day, but normally I only stream on YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I stream exclusively to Discord Tuesday, Thursdays. Seems they need a quick pullback to hit 658 and more today. I don't know. ES is still rolling just a touch as well. They're doing the same thing here. What biotech podcast are you referring to? Mine, yeah. It's a 5-star rated podcast. A couple of hundred votes, 5 stars. I like it. Appreciate y'all. Here's the episode of the podcast if you want to listen to it. I'll post it on the YouTube chat too. Do you think the market rolls when going into next year or continue blasting? Hard to see a recession with 7% GDP deficit. I do think within the next 12 months or so we'll have a decent drawdown. I don't know when that's going to come. Who knows? But I'm not short nothing until I see the signs. I want to be well on the right side of that V. Stop. Thanks for the You're welcome, Tofu. Have a good day, buddy. Thanks, Wilds. Good stuff, buddy. We're coming up on the top of the hour here, so if you have any other questions about anything, let me know. But from here, dealer's choice. I don't know. I think the morning was pretty good. I saw a lot of good moves, but right now it's just meh. I'm going to say one thing, and I just because I want y'all opinion, especially the tech people in here. You know, this is not a political talk. I'm curious. If you're a tech person, watch that speech and tell me if it's AI or not. The first, and I'm not even technically trained. In the first 20 seconds of that video, I was like, this is AI. It looks like AI. He's moving like AI. It's weird. If you haven't watched that, watch it. Watch the first minute of it and tell me what you think. Yeah, the Trump speech. I think the drawdown comes from AI revaluation. It's hard to see the speed turns into revenue profits. Yeah. Yeah, nice side gig. You had the exact same thought? Yeah, it looked like it. Might be real, but with AI touch up, that's probably the truth. Use AI daily. Deflections would be hard to mimic, but I'm speculating. Yeah, I think probably Trippy Mike has probably got it nailed. It's indistinguishable from AI. Yeah, true. Looks real to me, but the lighting is weird and the colors are oversaturated. Gives an odd look. Ah. Maybe he knew that. Maybe that's what their intent was, to make it look like AI to feed the chum. I don't know. AI will be the downfall. It's just a tool. Depends on how we use it. Well, humans have been known to screw things up, so I'm sure we'll do it with this too. So I would keep an eye on oil down into the 61.50 mark the next few days. Not just today's session, but the next few days. That'll be a nice little 3C signal, and I'll post it in the signals channel. I haven't posted much in the signals of the last week or so, because everything has been kind of range bound. We ready for the TLT flipping? I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. All right, there's 10 o'clock, so I'm locking out my top step. Done. Locked up. Closing the old IBKR. We're getting at this pullback to yesterday's jobs data. Not sure about the exit, but some liquidity at 24.03. Nice. The quarter got skimmed with some words and then recorded again. Ah. All right, any thoughts before we start nearing the end here? We got about 30 minutes or so. I still am in the ballpark of no shorting, only by the dip. Only by the dip. That's it. Could you show the 3C entry where you did the 1 minute or 5 minute chart? Yeah, let's take a look. So, hold on, let me get my exact entry. 1 second. Okay. TLT, yeah. So, this circle candle here, that was my shakeout candle that I became highly suspect on. The 23,927. This price action was tight and flat. This candle breached down quickly to 23,908 and then hammered back up quickly with volume, which showed that that is an indication to start looking for a long position. On the 5 minute, right here, there wasn't much to go off of. So we came on down there. So everything I did on that position was mainly driven by the 1 minute. It was right at my 945. Now I admitted a couple weeks ago that I'm relying on the 1 minute a lot more simply because volume. But this one here, that candle was more of a, what's the word I'm looking for? That's that pivot candle that gets you to start trying to short. It's the same thing they did here. So that's the takeaway there. That's the theme of this trade, is that watch out for their shenanigans. These are their gotcha candles. Once they do that and they take out the prior highs, I elected to get in the position. Rocket candle, back up, and off we go, of course. After that, it was just, once I caught the bounce, I knew the bounce was coming. Once I got the bounce, it was all about 24,000. It was confident. Y'all heard what I said. I was just looking for 24,000, maybe even 2402, and we've actually finally got 2402 eventually. But after that, not a single low was taken out. There was no volume inflows. So it was all just up and up and up and up. And we ran right into 24,000. There was a ton of liquidity on Bookmap. So there you go. You're welcome. This candle here, this big green engulfing, that is the first candle you have to pay attention to once you're in the position. Because if they destroy that candle, then you're in big trouble if you're long. If they hold that candle, now your confidence should skyrocket that we're going to put on at least a 50% reversal, if not take out the highs of the day. If they engulf that green candle and then don't top wick it, you're golden. You're set. All you have to do is just manage your stops. Make sense? Be on the right side of the market, and your stress will go a lot further down. Sweet. All right, we're obviously going back up here. No shorting. No shorting. Above 24.02, I have no additional targets. So just tier 2, play towards the macro levels. Everyone else, just roll the stops. What we got going here? Oh, sorry. I was typing up something. All right, so no additional trading for me. I'm good. Any questions? Survive the day 5 funded and still green. Love it, Hal. Keep it slow, buddy. Keep it slow. Trace tool before you get off? Yeah, sure. Let's take a look. Going to 2402 here. Trace tool. A whole bunch at 65.85. That's today's resistance, which is 8 points higher. 65.85 right there. You too, Jonathan. Still going. Let's think. So I'm going to keep it on the long side all day. Has been a huge help. Love it, Mojo. Excellent. Where would you like to see a retest if you wanted to enter a long? Morning high, which we just got. So the morning high is 24,004. We just had that retest. Broke above it, retested it on the 1105 candle. Bottom wick and then climb back up. And now they're going. So from there, just like any other support or resistance, every time we come back over and retest that 20,004, it becomes less and less confident over, hey, high volume. High volume. High volume. Let's see what happens. NASDAQ, high volume. Some of the highest volume of the day. So yeah, good morning. Looks like I've just blind bought and been fine. Of course, when you do is when they get you. Yeah. So when we have already tested the morning high once and defended, what are your thoughts if we test it again? Just the confidence goes down. I'm not to say it's unreliable, but the confidence goes down, just like any other support resistance. So just keep an eye on it. That was a high volume 1 minute spike, not necessarily on the 5. If Kennedy were watching this, I'm sure he would identify this little guy right here. And we'll see. $24.05. ES is going 65.90. Still going, baby. Still going. How come that looks different from when I was on here prior? Man, look at this. Now they're blasting off to 4. Interesting. Volume, yep. But when we do get a breakthrough, I know that's a bearish angle pattern. Yes, so if you do break down below the morning high and then close a candle under it, depending on whatever candle you're looking for, then I would look for the possibility of a retest of the morning low. Now, we don't happen very often. We haven't had very many range days like that in a while, and today is proving to be the same type. which is why I stopped shorting. I passed 250K top steps today, well over 8 grand a day. Well over, I don't know. Wonder if I could do this XFA this time. You can. You can, Tylenol. You can, buddy. Come on. $24.04. New all-time highs? Yep. 24.05, baby. Still going. There's your 4-hour chart. Did they actually get it? Oh, no. I thought they did get it. I don't think they did. Nope. ES got it. ES is just blasting. Good stuff, baby. Good stuff. Took out the buy side volumes coming. Yep. So if you're long, just tighten up your stops. If you're short, same thing. I'm personally not shorting. So, yeah. 8-day grind. I love it, Tylenol. Now the work starts. If you needed accountability, then bring it to the server. We'll be your accountability buddy. Just be safe. So apparently they found cartridges inside the shooting case with ideological wordage on them, on the bullets casings. The spent cartridge was still chambered in the weapon when they found it, in addition to 3 unspent rounds in the magazine. They obtained footage of the shooter from a doorbell cam. Interesting. We'll see if this holds, but almost perfect retest entry. Yep. Call is coming from the inside. Yeah. All right, y'all. We're going to wrap things up here in a few minutes. little subdued nature today, not as fun as we usually have, but under the circumstances, I hope you understand. But hey, the market's still moving, baby, and I hope you caught some good trades. If not, I hope you learned something along the way and kind of what goes through my thought processes. Thanks, Cal. Appreciate you, buddy. On trading note, dropping USI Butterfly 75 next week. Nice. Yeah. USO is a good one to trade. Time to focus on the rest of the day. Nice, Chris. Got a little fitness going on. We're expanding our chicken business next spring, so we're going to expand to hopefully at least 200 chickens, if not 500. I have to outfit the barn that we've got for a chicken house. So I'm going to be working on some of that lately. There is a massive demand for organic chickens at a reasonable price point. And I think everyone's been a little too greedy, charging $8 and $9 a dozen. If you could bring that down a little bit and maintain your overhead, your sales could skyrocket. Everybody will buy from you. I do, yeah, I watch all his stuff. It's fantastic. I'm going to try to build his Millennium Falcon. We are doing meat chickens, except we're going to start out small. In fact, I'm doing Joe Salatin's meat chicken tractor. We're going to start out with 60 to 120 chickens, and if we can handle those, we're going to scale. And we'll probably double every cycle. So I think you can get 3, or maybe, depending on your seasons, you can get maybe 4 cycles of chickens in a year, most likely 3. And go from there. Is organic feed really expensive? Not really, no. Not really. I mean, if you go to, freaking Tractor Supply and buy it, yeah, you're going to get wrecked. But what you could do is find one of these producers that you can create custom blends of feed, a seed depot or something like that, and you can develop your own custom feed, and you buy it in bulk, and you store it in plastic 55-gallon drums. Yeah, I do all soy free. Everything I buy has no soy in it. Corn does have some corn, but no soy. I do no soy. Soy is an inflammatory oil. By the way, if you got soy in your diet, get rid of it. Do yourself a favor, which is pretty much everything. So, no more salad dressing, no more mayonnaise, no more sauces. I did 40 a few years back. Best chicken I ever had. Yeah. What do I think about the liquidity higher? It could go there, but the liquidity remaining is so light, it's dealer's choice. Now the skew on Nasdaq is still lower. ES has got some up at 6,600, but overall it's kind of like it could go up there. I'm not either way. Don't get caught up in trying to short anything. That's all. That's still my theme. I still can't recommend a lot of shorting. I guarantee you're a jabroni if you eat soy. Yep. I buy eggs which have a QR code that takes us to the live video of the farm show. Oh, nice. That's pretty cool. That might be a good idea. I might do that because I have a camera on them. Nice Tylenol. Taking off tomorrow to reset for next week. Beautiful. Yeah, that's a great idea. Chickens breed crazy fast. You get a few and you'll be buried in chickens like a year. That's right. Yeah. Worcestershire sauce. Yeah. I buy eggs where you can eat them and they taste good. Oh, man. I put soy sauce on drug. Oh my gosh, drug eggs. Oh yeah, I've done that before. That's those marinated eggs. That's good stuff. All right, here we go. 24.05, still going. All right, y'all. That's European close for me. So I'm going to call it a day. If you have any questions, please hit me up. Throw me a DM. Post it in the channel. What, one more question? What we got? Man, I'm tired of seeing that crap. I'm at 51,420 on my TPT Pro. I've blown 2 of these in a similar range. Should I just stop for the day and come back to a clean session? Yes. If you're asking me, yes. Shut it down. Nothing good happens in the afternoon. Not on a probability standpoint. The confidence comes in the morning. You know why? Because these beautiful moves right here that we caught, there's 2 of them you could have caught, where you dip down and they have these beautiful bounces and sweeps higher. You don't get that in the afternoon. You get grindy price action. You get very slow rejections. Because, like, if you come up on, like, 12 o'clock, even if this does reject, it takes forever. It does like this, and then finally it just kind of breaches down, then eventually it'll go bleh, and you've got to sit through all of this. So in the afternoon, it's just so slow. So I recommend shutting it down. See, what you're doing now, Laner, I could tell. What you're doing now is you want the buffer so you can go ahead and take a payout. That's what you're thinking. Tell me I'm wrong. Am I right? Forget about it. Forget about it. How you doing? Forget about it. Think long term, man. Don't think about today. Think about tomorrow. Think about the day after that. Lock. So what I would encourage you to do is just get excited about getting closer to the buffer. And now you know anything over you make on the buffer is yours. Don't try to get it all in one day. Don't try to get it all in one day. So get close to the buffer, think long term, and now get excited about, hey, if I hit the buffer, once I hit the buffer, not if I, once I hit the buffer, I could go an entire week of nothing but payouts. So 1/3 of the way to the buffer. Not sure what to do once I get there. I just told you. I just told you. Take it slow. I guarantee you, just did a hand motion. I did. I do make a lot of hand motions. No shorting until 7,000. Possibly. I mean, heck, you know. Oh, I was thinking 6,700. Yeah, 7,000. Yeah. I'm going to want a payout. Well, you can't take a payout until you're over the buffer. So what I'm saying is get to the buffer, and then anything you make over that is yours. Obviously, minus the split. But everything over that is payout territory. So grind, forget about the jabroniism, grind until you get to the buffer, and then everything over that is your money. $100, $200, whatever it is. Your screen's so cloudy on YouTube. Is it? It looks pretty clear to me. I mean, that looks, no. My IC got stopped on the call side, but I'm also separate PCS. I'm net green. Beautiful. Can you look at the 9 o'clock candle on open? Yeah. Jeez Louise. What the crap is going on with this thing? Jeez. Making millionaires again. 9 o'clock candle on open. 9 o'clock Eastern? Or Alaskan? Central, so 10 Eastern. Okay. What about it? Tremendous amount of volume with a top wick. Pin flat and then absorbed it and went higher. So very bullish. Very bullish. Many, many high volume top wicks in supply. So this is a position where you definitely want to stop out if you were short, because when you have such an egregious high volume top wick, which, you know, scalp short would have worked very gently, but obviously you're not getting much out of that. Yeah, but this was an indication where you want to stop out, because if I see this and they eat it up and go higher with another high volume top wick and then eat it up and go higher again, I want to stop out of that, because this is primed to go higher. This shows you how strong the bulls are. So this is an indication where the 3 Cs would have resulted in either a very small win or a losing trade, which that's okay. That's okay. And I will say again, the 3 Cs to the short side are harder to play. Anything to the short side is harder to play than the long side. The market always wants to go higher, especially if you're fighting such a massive bull move such as open right now. So that's why I've stuck to only buying the dips here and only playing the long side since June. That's why my win rate's so high, above average, because all I'm doing is buying the dips. I will wait until I get my dip, and I'll buy it. I think I've taken 3 short positions since June. Thanks, Sagi Guru. Love you, buddy. I feel like the macro trend must be intact for the 3 Cs to work confidently and consistently, and your opposition to short has proven it's the best approach until we see the macro 3 C. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, so you play with the trend. So if the trend right now is aggressively higher, then the 3 Cs are going to be more confident to the buy side. 100%. You're absolutely right. That's the whole thesis behind why I am refusing to do any shorting, because the shorting demands you be so precise. Otherwise, you're either going to get very marginal profits or you're going to get blasted. So I'm only buying the dip, because even if I'm wrong on the buy the dip, or a little early maybe not wrong but early, the market will come back in my favor within the bounds of my risk tolerance, of course. And then when the macro begins to show signs of distribution moving into markdown, that's when we're going to look to sell the rips. Or play less aggressively on the buy the dip, whichever. Which is why the doing the multiple time frame or higher time frame analysis is absolutely crucial. Even with the accuracy of the macro levels and the theories I post in the weekly brief, I still want you all to do your due diligence and look at the larger charts on Sundays and Monday mornings. All right, I'm out of here. Y'all have a good rest of the day. Hit me up with questions. I'm out. See you.